bringing you the latest news from Liberty Athletics. This is the Patriot Fan Zone podcast from 100.7 The Score.
Welcome back into the High School Fan Zone on this first Monday in November. Again, I got distracted again as Joe Sexton and I watched Stephen A. Smith in that looked like a pink suit to you?
Yeah, it looked a little pink to me.
Maybe fashionistas would call it salmon. It didn't look right. Let's just put it that way. Hey,
I don't have one.
If that's what he wants to wear, I'm all for it. Yeah, I don't have one of those either, and I don't. Please, Jennifer, if you're listening, I do not need one of those ever. Let's talk about football. Starting to feel a little bit weird talking about pink suits.
Yes.
And we're also trying to catch up to see if we can get some information out there on what the Liberty volleyball team is playing, because the number 1 ranked Lady Patriots are playing. I believe they're the number 5 ranked team, Eagle Mountain.
I think when I came in, I want to say I heard they were down 16-9.
Okay, first game.
Yeah.
That's one of 2 games that's being played today. Lubbock Cooper went down to Odessa and beat El Paso Burgess 25-20, 25-23, 25-20. So Liberty's trying to join. You can't really call them your older sisters anymore because they're all about the same age. They're fellow Lubbock Cooper ISD girls in the 3rd round, but their chore's a little bit steeper because that Eagle Mountain team's the one that beat them last year, and Mike Moffitt was telling me they have a girl about his height.
Yeah,
she's pretty good at what she does.
I walked through the office the other day, and there were a couple of girls watching some video, and I watched a little bit of it, and yeah, they're a good team, very good team. But our girls are had a great season, and I'm anxious to see what the score is here in just a little bit. Your
girls have something in common with the boys you coach in that Caitlin and Kendall and Randy can just keep sending more girls out there in waves that are going to make an impact.
Right.
And they've been playing together so long, they don't mind passing the torch.
Right. It's really fun to watch them play. They haven't played very many games at home this year. It's been they've been on the road quite a bit. Really the only time that I've got to see them play is when they were at home playing a district game. So I didn't really get to see anything before district started. So, but no, they've been playing together for a long time, and they're really good.
Well, and I imagine we can just take that volleyball reference out and apply that to a football team that's really good, that's coming off a 49-22 win against Estacado. And I don't know if you were listening earlier. I haven't seen all your games this year, but I've kept up with them. I'll let you determine this. You guys played awfully well the other night. I didn't see a whole lot of blemishes.
Our guys were highly motivated. It's kind of like when you play a good team, your guys are gonna be revved up and ready to go. And Estacado is definitely a description of a good team. They are extremely scary. I don't think I slept a whole lot last week. Just trying to figure out how things were gonna go and what we needed to do to try to keep the ball out of Cedric Ross's hands. And we did some things that kind of worked out for us a little bit.
You didn't completely keep the ball out of his hands, and I liked what you told me afterwards, that you knew he was going to make a few plays.
Yes.
You just didn't want
to make all the plays.
Yes.
Yeah, he did. He got away from us 3 times, I believe, and
caught him once.
Yeah, I don't know how we did that, but him and James Bozeman is the same way.
Yes.
They're incredible. Just the speed that they have, and one of the things that amazes me is how fast he can make a cut and then be back to full speed. So it was a good night for the Patriots for sure.
His defensive coordinator, Joshua Young, who has to coach guys against him every day, I think he's nicknamed him the cheat code. And that's, for video game people out there, that's exactly what he is.
Right. He's just he's fun to watch when you're not playing him. He kind of makes me, and I had a lot of people talk to us after the game about, why didn't we, kick the ball to him and, punt it to him. And it's, I really hope that that he took that as a compliment. It wasn't a slide in any way.
Oh no, I think you do.
I mean, he's just that good that we didn't want to give him any space to catch a ball and do something to us in the open field. So I really hope that he took that as like, okay, they know I'm pretty good.
So yes,
so we did.
The flip side of that is you guys had a lot of guys make plays. It wasn't. We talked about that before. Your team is not one where they can circle one guy in a scouting report and say take him away, because you have a lot of guys that can do and did do some damage the other night.
Levi Walker had a great night. Colton's just been solid all year long. He's our leader on offense and just does. I just knew he was about to get smoked. They sent an outside linebacker off the edge, and he somehow just ducked him. I don't know how, but I saw it coming, and I'm screaming at Colton. And he, of course, he can't hear me, but for some reason I thought he'd be able to hear me. But he just kind of flinched a little bit, and the guy went right by him. But it was and then rolled to his right, threw the ball out of bounds, and we come back to snap it again. Just stuff like that is just that's the evolution of Colton, from last year to this year.
Sometimes that's the best play a quarterback can make is live to tell a story. And I've got to disagree with you. I think he probably can't hear you, because when I'm yelling at Patrick Mahomes on TV, I'm pretty sure he's listening and he can hear me.
Oh, so. Sure. All the way to Kansas City.
Yep. 49-22, just solid from start to finish. And I mentioned you caught Cedric once, and I thought that was very early in the game a key play, because it was remind me who ran him down.
I'm not real sure.
Hogg.
Becton. Becton can run too.
Yep.
He's deceptively fast. He can. He's got some good speed. He ran track for us last year, so he's. He can run too.
Well, he kept Cedric from getting in the end zone on their first possession, and they wind up not scoring, and you guys had driven the ball down. So that just little plays kept adding up.
You never know. You stress all the time about make them snap it again, and that's the true example of Becton ran him down, and I think they ended up fumbling the next play or the two plays after that. So. Yeah, just never quit.
Like I said, that was just a little piece of the puzzle. We're going to talk about that game a little bit more, but we got to switch gears because there's another big game coming Friday for the Patriots. We'll be back after the break in the high school fan zone on 100.7 The Score.
Diving headfirst into Liberty Athletics. You're listening to the Patriot Fan Zone on 100.7 The Score and the 100.7 The Score mobile app.
Welcome back into the high school fan zone. I'm Randy Rosetta. We're in the Patriot fan zone right now, but I want to run through this week's schedule real quick. Football schedule. Volleyball, we mentioned that the playoffs are going on. You got Lubbock Cooper that won earlier today, and Liberty playing right now. We lost the first set 25-17, according to the man on the street, Paul Enlow, who was very excited that he got a mention on this show last week. So Lady Patriots have some work to do out there in Clyde, Texas. Let's see. Tomorrow, Memorial, it plays at 5 p.m., against Springtown at ACU. Lubbock Christians at home at 2 p.m. against, I'm going to blank, and I can't remember. They're at home. We'll leave it there. We've got Trinity Christian. This is, be glad you don't follow the same path that TAP schools have to. Trinity Christian is going to Tyler, Texas for their area round match, which is a long trip, right?
I thought we had to travel a ways.
Kingdom Prep's going to Longview, Texas. So that's that'll test your mettle there a little bit. And I believe
that's like going on vacation.
Yes, it is. That's I believe that's everybody in volleyball. Big week in football coming up. Thursday night, Friendship's District 2 6A game is on Thursday night, 7 p.m. at San Angelo Central. Both teams are in the playoffs. That one will determine who gets a home playoff game and who gets to go to El Paso for the first round. Tigers lost to Permian last week, 38-25. Did some good things, but Permian was just really, really good that night. Caprock and Monterey are at Lowry Field. That is a win and you're in game, losing you're out. Monterey and Caprock are tied for that fourth spot right now, so that's a big win for the Plainsmen and the Longhorns. Kingdom Prep is at home at 6 p.m. against Amarillo San Jacinto. Friday night, big game. Joe may look at me like I'm crazy here. This is the HubCPreps.com game of the week because a lot has been decided in these other districts. And I'm very curious to see this one. It's at Lowry Fields, Coronado and Lubbock High. Neither one of them is in the playoffs. Got one win between them. I'm curious to see who comes out and figures out what they need to do to take some positive into the offseason. There will also be a Lubbock High Rough Rider introduced on senior night that I have some interest in, so I will be out on the field very briefly.
Very good.
I don't like being in the spotlight. I don't know how you guys do it, all that attention. So
I try to avoid it every chance I can.
The big one for Liberty is they are at home at Patriot Stadium against Levelland. Patriots are already in the playoffs, already have a share of the district championship. I'm going to let the guy to my left here comment on that in a minute. Levelland could come in and play spoiler a little bit. They are 2-1 in district. They've won their last two after losing to Estacado. They could gum up the works a little bit. Probably won't necessarily change any seeding, but they could disappoint Joe Sexton. Like I said, we'll let him mention what one of his goals with his team is this week. In TAPS, Trinity Christian's at home against Midland Christian. The Lions won last week to stay alive. They've got to beat Midland Christian to get to the playoffs. Lubbock Christian sewed up the district championship last week against Pantego Christian. They're at home against Willow Park Trinity. And Christ the King, which is still undefeated. It's their best season in program history. They're 8-0. They're at home at 4 p.m. against Amarillo Holy Cross. On top of that, the girls' basketball season starts on Friday with a few games. I don't think, let's see, Liberty doesn't play for a while, I don't believe.
I think we have some scrimmages this week.
Okay.
I was talking to Morgan yesterday about, so we have it's here. You know, we're about to hit that overlap time of the year where we've got all sorts of stuff going on.
Yes, and I think she's done this enough. She knows she's got a few girls out there playing volleyball still. She'd like to get in a different pair of shorts and get them going. So tell me about Friday. What's one of the motivations for the old coach?
Well, the only thing that I've said today is, do you want a gold ball all to yourself, or do you want to have to share a gold ball?
Yep.
And I told them I'm kind of selfish like that. I don't really like to share things, and this being one of them. You know, our game with Levelland last year went to overtime, and we came up on the short end, and you know, we scored. I think we scored 35 points, and you know, usually you would expect, you know, you score that many, you should be able to win the ball game, but you know, we lost in overtime, and they were a good team last year, and it's just another one of those games where everything comes down to execution. And you know, we started working on them today. I think they were open. No, they played the last two last week. But you know, we've started working on those guys today, and gosh, they've got some good playmakers out there. Their defense is solid. O-line is really good. Have some very good defensive players. So it's going to be a challenge for us again. You know, every week. You know, I think I've said the same thing every week. It's going to be a challenge, just because, you know, there's a lot on the line. You know, they want to get some more of that gold ball just like we do.
I was wondering what a gold ball would look like chopped into three. It wouldn't be a very attractive.
No, it wouldn't. It wouldn't at all.
We'll come back and talk more about that game. Levelland at Liberty, 7 p.m. Patriot Stadium on Friday. We'll be back after this break in the Patriot Fan Zone on 100.7 The Score.
Your inside look into Liberty sports. This is the Patriot Fan Zone on 100.7 The Score and the 100.7 The Score mobile app.
Welcome back in. We are in the Patriot Fan Zone. That's the first time I've actually called you guys the Panthers. I think I've called
you all right.
The other Lubbock Cooper School once or twice, but we are in the Patriot Fan Zone, and we were talking football. We also checked up on the volleyball score. It is now second set. Eagle Mountain is up on Liberty 19-16. Caitlin Anderson's got it. She's got some red boots on. She's going to have to get fired up, which I think
that won't take long.
I was going to say, as Joe knows, and I think I've asked you this before, was she that feisty in high school?
Oh, yes.
Good.
She was.
I like it.
Yeah. She was definitely like that in high school.
And I've told Max this. Your Morgan Glaspie and Caitlin Anderson are two of my favorite coaches to watch of all time.
Yeah, you don't ever have to wonder what they're thinking. Mm-mm. You know.
And there's nothing wrong with that. And I'm going to add your brother to that after that. What I told you. What I saw in that first game at New Home.
Yeah, he's kind of the same way. There's no. I wonder what's going on in his mind. He'll let you know for sure.
You guys have not had. Let me say, I don't want to put words in your mouth. This is, I would think, for a coach who's done it for a while, for like you and your brother and your other coaches, this has probably been one of those seasons where there hasn't been a whole lot of come to Jesus, fire and brimstone, because you guys are they're so used to being together. And you've said this a couple of times on podcasts with me that you don't come in at halftime trying to peel the paint off the walls. It's usually just a conversation. Let's do this point A, B, and C, and let's go.
You know, I haven't had to, and that's these guys have been with us. A lot of them have been with us 2 years. A lot of them have been with us for 3 years, and I've really tried to make a point with our coaches that we come in at halftime. The main thing that we have to do is adjust what we're doing or keep doing what we're doing. And if you come in and, like you say, trying to peel the paint off the wall, a lot of kids tune you out right off the bat, and that's the last thing that we need. Coach Newton and his offensive staff and Coach Tolliver and his defensive guys, they do a great job of communicating what we're going to do, how we're going to do it, and then we go out and we try to get it done. The other night at Estacado, we came in and we were up at halftime, but it was
still tenuous.
Yeah, it was really close, and we just talked about what we needed to do and what kind of adjustments we needed to make, and off we went. Second half was pretty good to us. And
there was another one of those one split-second plays that made a difference. You got the onside kick to start the third quarter.
Yes, that was, you can try to steal possessions there, and, luckily we bounced one off one of them and ended up picking it up. And then, our whole goal at halftime is to come out, get a defensive stop, and then go down and score. And luckily, we didn't have to get a stop, but we got a onside kick and then went down and scored. So that was pretty good.
You wanted, like I said, I've seen you enough to know that was a really good performance. You'd like every week to get better. I think you said this earlier, you guys just have to be you against Levelland.
Right.
I don't think I'm offending anybody or going out on a limb here. So I think you guys are the better team. Sometimes you just have to play like you're the better team.
Right. We've talked about that today also. We play against ourselves. All of the good things that we've done throughout the year, and we just try to play to that standard that Coach Newton and Coach Tollivers have set for the guys on their side of the ball, and we just try to do what we do.
Looks like that you're going to play Monahans in the first round, which you've played them each of the last 2 regular seasons?
Yes. Yeah, we played them, both times.
Lost to them last year, beat them this year. Is there any advantage, disadvantage to having seen each other as often as you have? You're coming from a Lubbock Cooper program that played Wichita Falls Rider like 4 times
those
a year.
Guys, we played Rider all the time. Yep. And no, I don't think so. I think there's a little bit of, we're familiar with what they do, and they're familiar with what we do, and I don't see a whole lot of change. We're just going to, just see what happens. Same thing with Levelland. They have a great scheme on offense, great scheme on defense, so we're just going to see if we can slow them down a little bit.
Last thing about last week, it snuck out there on a Friday afternoon with the snapshot numbers from the UIL. You said 837 is what Liberty submitted?
Yes, sir, 837.
Which will keep you at 4A Division II for 2 more years.
I believe so. I'm not real sure what the ceiling and on those numbers are going to look like, but I would assume we're probably going to be right where we are.
Which is kind of cool. We talked to Joshua Young earlier. The rivalry with Estacado is just getting started. You get to do that for a couple more years. So
yes, I look forward to that. They're a great bunch.
And we'll get to talk about that for a few more years. Tomorrow we'll come back and talk Monterey. Actually, I'm sorry, no show tomorrow night. We'll be back Wednesday in the High School Fan Zone on 100.7 The Score.